All right, so this was the end of last month, but this is a recording I wanted to do. And yeah, I've been doing some recent recordings of these LGBT um, crimes of passion, where you have some of these so-called females cosplaying as men who treat their female partners in a very abusive fashion. And here's a pretty much another story. Well, the fortunate thing is that not the partner didn't die, although one of the partner's unborn baby did. So this makes it even more tragic some of the other ones. But it goes lesbian couple lose baby after fight, and there's a messed up part you're going to read, which I'll talk about. So corporate area woman, raised eyebrows in the Kingston St. Parish Court. Um, Last month after she claimed to have lost a child she was caring for a lesbian partner. According to one, she was pregnant with her. Oh god, and this is what I don't like. Like this delusion that her female partner is her husband. Yeah, she said her husband's child. They just say, hey, that's my wife. Doesn't say that. Yeah, don't do that nonsense where you get to change genders because it's whatever. I mean, like, that's like saying, like, you're two gay guys and if one of them refers to his male partner as his wife. Yet that bullshit makes no sense in any logical sense. It does say that's your wife's child. Okay, and it's gone. She's pregnant for her wife's child. I was going to go say that, but had a miscarriage after assaulted by her so-called partner, Althea Bailey, and her male friend Michael Flemings. And the male dude, you're a bigger bitch than these two men. Like, what kind of man are you that you're going to assault a female? At the best of another, your female friend. If anything, if he was a real man, you'd try to part the fight or try to like talk reason to them and get them to try and have a peaceful resolution. But he's, like I said, he's more effeminate than apparently these two females are. So Bailey and Flemings have been charged with assault, occasioning actual bodily harm. However, in true fashion, the complainant has accepted the charges against her lesbian partner. And she then said, and here's the fucked up part, because she does not want to leave this abusive relationship, said only the male bitch, needs to be charged. Never mind the fact that her wife, who initiated the attack and had that punk ass bitch male friend attack her or some bullshit. She doesn't. Yeah, she gets to walk away, but I'm not. But he's the only one should pay the consequences. Okay, no evidence was provided presented to court to prove that the complainant was pregnant and has miscarried. It was not also said how she came to be caring for a child from a female, and this is where star stupidity comes in. It basically means that okay, she probably had a sperm donor somewhere who impregnated her. Maybe she went to the sperm bank and got impregnated with a sperm, with some male sperm. That's any logical sense. Or maybe one of her male friends offered to knock her up and whatever. But yeah, but the way that they said, okay, she could be carrying a child for another female. This is some grade school journalism, people. But even a grade school school student could figure out that type of simple logic. In the jaw-dropping case, the court heard that on October 18th, 2 months ago, the complainant got to the fight with Bailey and Flemings when she received multiple punches to her face. It was shared with the court that disagreement started after Bailey carried a woman to the complainant's place of business. In explanation to court, Bailey suggested that jealousy had been mainly heart of the attack, which basically means that the wife was accusing Bailey of like stepping out on her, and I wouldn't be surprised if she was actually doing it. But the wife has this delusion that, hey, I want to be in this very abusive and toxic relationship, and Bailey then goes to explain why that wasn't the case. Okay, and she said that the other woman, that the complainant, who they're not naming, by the way. For some reason, they're not naming the woman who got assaulted. Like she's basically saying, hey, I'm not really stepping out on you. This is just a coworker. Whether that's true or not, that's remains subjective. Okay. The judge who I love hearing about, Lorian Cole Montague, said that both of them need to talk. Matt expressed belief that the issue could be mediated, and this is the dumbest shit I've ever heard. I'm sorry. That bitch needs to be in jail along with that little fuck, that little bastard who assaulted this woman. But then again, the so-called victims even is dumb because like she said, only the man needs to get charged, and I'm saying he only attacked her on the behest of your so-called partner, your husband, as I like to put it. All right. All right, and then she goes on to say that okay, Flemings came on nowhere when her and her partner were arguing. She's just basically trying to cover for her partner because her partner was complicit. And then she said, okay, and it's basically, hey, I'm just even though I'm blaming him. All right, and yeah, and this is where the stupidity of the partners coming in, like saying, "Hey, it's really Fleming's fault that we were fighting." No, it's not. It's just that she's in denial about the fact that Bailey ain't shit, and she's probably just no different from a lot of these stories I've read about these very abusive studs, who are pretty much quick to put hands and feet on their female partners, and these same female partners are too dumb or too weak to actually leave these relationships, at least not part time. All right, okay, but and then basically said that okay, the judges said okay, I'm letting both you animals back out on street, and then they're going to return to court to see if they can settle the matter. Now, I'm going to say this. This is for my LGBT people I know, not personally directly, but the people who deal with bullshit like this, the ones who have sense that to know what goes on, and I'm not going to co-sign this. I'm doing this because we're going to highlight that rampant abuse that people in the media do not like talking about. I bet you some people within those circles don't like talking about. Now, you had this lady who was obviously in an abusive relationship, and I can guarantee you that this Bailey lady or her husband, as if you think of the other dingbat, what's her name? The one lady, the one black female actress that had was in a relationship with men, then got with a woman. I forget the name of her actor. The one who was just so, it was just basically like a more older, less obnoxious version of Tiffany Haddish. I really wish I could remember her name. It'll come to me at some point. Yeah, the American actress that I really wish I could remember at some point. But yeah, she had this term her husband or her husband, which this lady should just say that's her husband, but that is not a man. But she is in an obviously abusive and dysfunctional relationship where she obviously refuses to leave. And instead of saying to herself, you know what, my partner ain't shit, let me go find a better person, she then proceeds to say, hey, it's really the fault of the male. I mean, either that she hates males that much or she's just so deluded into thinking that there's still some love in that relationship. And whether or not she was actually pregnant or not, I don't know. But this should have been her sign that she needs to leave this relationship and find a better person. But if she's telling the truth about the baby, this was basically, they should basically be charged for murder. All right, because you killed, even though that child probably wasn't a fetus, but that is basically considered murder. But then again, her stupid ass just basically say, hey, I just want to stay in this relationship with this person. And I can guarantee Bailey has probably gone upside her head before prior to this, because that kind of abuse when you are a male friend and her beatings, that was not a one-off. That was basically that's basically a precursor as to what has happened before, what she's not talking about. But with some of the videos I've been doing on these violent relationships with LGBT community, unfortunately it just highlights that that's going on which we're not talking about, because as I said, the domestic violence rates within these LGBT relationships, not all. I don't think that I'm just picking on everybody within that community. It's very high, but society on a collective level does not like talking about this. But we're going to have to like spread truth. We have to kind of just, we're going to have to bring some people to the front of the congregation and say, yeah, we're going to be calling you out on your dirt, and we're just going to bring it to this. No, even though that unborn child was killed, if she's telling the truth, well, at least she didn't end up like some of those other female femmes in some of those recent recordings done in these violent LGBT relationships. Like she, again, like with that one female cop, Tiffany Gadsden, who killed her ex-girlfriend, then herself, like, and or even with Yvonne Wu, who almost killed her ex-girlfriend, but ended up killing her ex-girlfriend's current girlfriend. Or even that other relationship, which I really wish I could forget. The other one, which I really wish I could remember, where that demon killed her ex-girlfriend who left her, and then unfortunately she's arrested. I'm seeing a pattern in certain cases. And the thing about it, again, there's complete silence in these circles, whether it's here in the Caribbean or beyond that. Now, I can predict that this unnamed complaint is likely going to end up, if she's stupid enough to stay with this lady, they're likely going to find her, her body somewhere, or like there's going to be a fight where her Bailey or even her male, that'll beta male bitch friend, they're going to end up killing her or put her in the hospital at some point. And if they do that with the latter, I won't be surprised she's still on stay in that relationship. Or even if she womans up or whatever, she can't man up, of course. She's going to finally leave, and then Bailey's going to say, you know what? I'm going to do the scarcity mindset like Tiffany Gadsden or Yvonne Wu did, and said, if I can't have you, nobody can. And and they're going to find you somewhere in a ditch or on a shallow grave once I get done with you. Don't be surprised if that does happen down the road, if she's dumb enough to still be in this relationship. But yeah, there's some BS right here. And again, to the brothers and sisters in the LGBT community who know about this stuff and are actually and want the truth to be told, we're doing these videos for you, all right? Because they don't like talking about this kind of abuse that many of them go through, and we're just going to try and shed some light on that situation, because all abuse, gay or straight, needs to be called out. And yeah, if I can do my part in this, having a balanced conversation across the board, I'm more than happy to do these videos. So this is for State of Jamaica and the Caribbean. Check out my other YouTube pages, Miles Gus and Farron, Miles Productions, Real Thoughts and Miles. All right.